I had to guess.
All right, yeah, live. There we go. You can even see it.
Here we go.
We did it.
We did it.
Week 2.
We
Thank
did
God.
it, Joe.
Thank God. All right, we did it. Yeah. All right, let's roll. Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. Day 6. We freaking made it to week 2. Let's go.
So, first of all, yes. So happy to be here.
After last year, like we were confident going into the game. We thought they win. Obviously, a stressful game. Well, we talked a lot yesterday. We'll get more into it. But and I know we mentioned it yesterday, but after last year, it was so. Even though I expected them to lose last year, it was so deflating doing 1 week of pods. It felt like a bummer.
Our whole thing last week was get us to Monday,
and we're here.
And we're here.
This is really.
But
exciting.
I do want to clarify something. It's actually day 8.
You're right, because
we're including Saturday. Yeah.
Good
so
point.
when they went to the Super Bowl in 2022, we included
week
the week
2, I should say.
Yes,
week 2.
Yeah. Well, I just bring it up because Tucker, who's not here today, also thought it was day 6. So I just want to make sure we get
that's
the count right.
important stuff. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, we did do a show on Saturday. We did do a show on Sunday.
And I think if we're going to talk superstitions, we want to keep it the same as 2022.
You're right, which is what we did.
Whereas last year, I don't even know.
And again, we did a show. I
don't even know what day we got to last.
Yeah, I know.
Like 6.
All of them, buddy. All of them.
But man,
let's do it again.
Whew.
That was an all-time breathe a sigh of relief.
It really, really was.
And I feel like the more people I've talked to, we'll get into kind of more of the hurt stuff.
You've heard more reaction.
Yeah, an interesting reaction. But I do think pretty consistent across the board. No matter how confident you were, that was for lack of a better term, like a clench your butt type of game. I think everyone I've talked to was like, wow, that really took it out of me.
So to be honest, not to pat myself on the back.
You called it.
But it kind of played out exactly. I know.
I let it because you nailed it.
Maybe that's why my reaction to this is much different than other people. Like, you can tell me what the overarching fan reaction is on WIP. I just know based off my friends I'm talking to, what I've seen on Twitter, there seems to be a lot of man, they can't play like that again. And I mostly agree. But what did they think yesterday was going to be? I think they were going to come out and win this game 35-10. They had the hardest first round opponent. Their quarterback hadn't played in a month. They sat last week. If the Lions next week come out slow, are people going to be like, oh, they can't? Yes, everyone knows they need to play better than they did yesterday for the most part. But I also think let's take a step back for a second. The defense played unbelievable.
If the defense plays that way the rest of the playoffs, we're in great shape.
They're winning the Super Bowl if the defense plays that way. And on the offense, for as much as people want to rip into Jalen, and we'll talk about him more, I will say I haven't had a chance to rewatch the game yet. But once I do, I'll have a better read on how I really deep dive think he played. He didn't turn the ball over. And people can get mad at me. I care about mostly 2 things, quarterbacks 1 and 2. Did you win the game and did you turn the ball over? And then you can get to accuracy, decision making against the blitz. Could this play have been better? But if you do those 2 things, I'm mostly going to be okay with your performance. Had he turned it over yesterday, they probably lose that game. Even one time. Maybe not because the defense was so good. But the no turnover thing cannot be ignored. Jordan Love, what the Packers have 4 turnovers yesterday? And I know all those weren't on him.
Love.
Right.
3 picks.
Jordan Love had 3 picks, 0 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts had 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. And that is a simplistic way to look at it. But you know what? Sometimes the simplistic way to look at it is kind of the overarching way to look at it. Then after that, once I rewatch the game, I'll do it on the daily pod. We'll probably talk about it. Yes, then we'll get into on this play, what's he doing there? The sack he took wasn't very good. But this idea that they can't win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts playing that way,
they absolutely can.
I disagree. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they absolutely
I agree
can.
with you.
This formula can absolutely win a Super Bowl. It's won Super Bowls before, especially with Jalen's legs added into that formula. They absolutely can. But to your initial point, the fact that you came in saying, hey, they're going to be rusty, survive in advance. This is the toughest
exactly
game.
What they did.
This is exactly what happened. And we've watched Jalen all year, right? And I understand. And to your point about WIP, it was a lot of defense. Of
it was
more than I expected. I expected there to be more criticism of Jalen. And here's where I'm at. We've watched Jalen all year. He's not going to look like that in the next game. We know that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He played below average. It's okay to say that Jalen didn't have, and to your point, the no turnovers maybe makes it average, whatever. That is such a big
I gave him
thing.
a C-. I think it's C-.
Such a big thing that it does carry the day in certain ways. But it's okay to say that Jalen wasn't great and they won.
Yeah.
And he's going to be better in the next game. It should actually be encouraging, as we said yesterday, that they as a team, if you put the defense, the offense together, played a B- game at best.
Yeah.
And they freaking won the football game by 12 points.
Against a good team.
Against a good team. And while it was only 12 points, like we've talked about so many times, like, yeah, and they capitalized, but like they dominated that game for all intents and purposes.
There was like 7 minutes of game time.
When it was 16-10. When it was 16-10, we're all like, oh, touchdown gives them a lead, and then it was over.
I saw a tweet yesterday, and it's not like the most shocking stat because of how the game played out, but it's still really. So the Packers trailed in that game for 58 minutes.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was the most they've trailed in a game, obviously, all year. So like,
well, it was the most they've trailed in a game since
it's hard for it to be more.
2016.
Okay, I didn't see that.
And it was the most they have ever trailed in a playoff game.
Really? Oh, the time-wise, not the score.
Time-wise.
Okay, yeah, okay, wow. I was like, wow.
Time-wise, the most they've ever trailed in a game.
Yeah.
It was their most they've trailed in a game since 2016, I believe.
I mean, they hopped out to a 10-0 lead. Like, they were winning at the end of the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and obviously at the end of the fourth quarter. They didn't turn the ball over. The defense never gave the Packers life except for one drive, and the offense was not good enough. We all agree with that. But, like, that was a dominating performance overall. And I think sometimes, and I understand it, look, we talk about the Eagles for a living. It was funny. I called my mom this morning when I was driving in, and she's like, oh, you ready to talk about the Eagles nonstop for the next week? And I was like, Mom, I talk about the Eagles nonstop
my whole life,
year round.
Literally
so like, I'm very,
exactly. Eagles with me.
So trust me, I am very willing to be like, he wasn't good enough against this, or like like I understand the nitty gritty of it. But where I think people get lost in it is like, they beat the Packers in a playoff game yesterday to advance to the divisional round. The quarterback was not as bad as people were making it. Like,
well, especially when to your point, I think it's important to bring up Jordan Love right across the field, a guy who's just as highly rated. It was drafted higher, the whole thing. Like everyone was so excited about. Jordan Love was awful in that game, and
he was bad. I agree.
The Eagles' defense was great. Like it wasn't just Love, and he lost receivers and all that. But like as mediocre as Jalen was, he was still the better quarterback.
He was a better quarterback, 100%. He was 100% the better quarterback in that game. So next week, and I'm curious to see where we fall on the opponents. On one hand, I think it's pretty obvious.
We're gonna dive in. We're gonna get into this. But like, I have some thoughts.
The thing that keeps sticking in my head is a point you made on the postgame pod yesterday, which is the Eagles defense has given up over 20 points once since the bye week. And in that game, Jalen wasn't the quarterback. Not that that's end all be all.
But it matters.
But here's I think the biggest takeaway from yesterday is this Eagles defense is very unlikely to give up much over 20 points, if over 20 points. And the Eagles offense showed yesterday, if everybody thinks Jalen was such trash and he was bad and he has to play, they basically tripped their way into 22 points. So if the Eagles play mostly the game they did yesterday, like, yeah, they're going to win a lot of games from here on out. They'll win next week. The Lions won super tough like that.
Yeah, because the Lions can score. Right?
I
mean, no matter the point is the defense will play great, but like the Lions will get theirs against any.
Yes,
defense.
like the Eagles are probably going to give up 25-ish
exactly
against, and so then it'll be like, hey,
gotta score some points.
Can they do it? But I think the other thing you said is so true. Like Jalen, I'm trying to think how many games in a row this year he had bad performances. Like
I mean, really, just
if you could do post bye,
but I guess I was gonna say pre bye, like if you wanted to go like Bucks Browns, like with the bye in between, it was like but like Saints Bucks, I guess. But like even then, like he really hasn't had.
We're probably forgetting one, really, but I can't think of many. So I'm pretty confident, and that's why yesterday I was so big into surviving it. Like, just claw your way out of that.
Nailed it. That's why I led the post game pod with it for a reason, because as the day progressed, as the game progressed, I was like, damn, like Elliot was so dead on.
And like next week will be more of the litmus
test. Like if they don't look good next week, we can start to be like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah, like now if they win the game 17-13,
it might not matter.
But then there will be more
the whole way and win the Super Bowl. That's the way this team is built.
Yes.
Like, they probably won't, but like it could be. This game could be, they could do this 3 more times and win the Super Bowl.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Now, that being said,
it's a harder good difficulty. You got the Lions, Bills, or Chiefs. Like, they're real offenses you're playing. It's going to be harder to do that. But I'm talking in theory.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how they win at this point. You just have to win the game.
Just win the game.
Just win the game.
They're damn good at winning football.
And they are. Dude, I was talking to Wechter out there. Like, when's the last time, like, this team wins so much. If you just look at their resume, the fact that either Jalen or Nick is debated is somewhat comical.
Yeah.
If you just look like black and white on paper, their resume, it's like crazy to think that we're talking about how like maybe Jalen's not, whatever, right? But I agree. Like Jalen yesterday to the eye test was not great. Now, this is why next week to me is a bigger one. Now, the Vikings, if they play the Vikings, their defense is good. So you take that.
And it's both a good
And
defense,
it's Flores
and
for the
Flores,
first time.
so it's, the whole.
But yeah, if Jalen looks next week like he did this week, yeah, I agree. Then it'll be like, all right, man, like the rest of the team is clicking here. Like you got to start playing better. But I just don't have much concern about him looking like that.
I just don't think there's any
I think he'll play better next week.
Yeah, like he might not be great. Like I think he'll get there, but like I would bet everything I have that he plays better next week than he did this week. I would bet everything I own.
I agree with you. And here's the other part of it. We talked on this pod so much about how good the coaching staff is at fixing problems. I tried to hint at this on the pregame show and on the radio show. Like, I think a big thing for them this week was kickoff coverage. Like, I think it was a big emphasis for them.
Well, there you go.
First play of the game.
And they were great, period. And by the way, they didn't talk about it in the broadcast, but Keyshawn Nixon has been the best kick returner in football for
the past 2 years.
I think, right? You know, like they didn't mention the broadcast. Like, that guy's a stud.
He's led. I said this on the Daily Pod. I don't think not this one.
Oh, did you? I didn't know that. Yeah.
I think the previous 2 years he's led the league in yards.
He's awesome.
Now I know it's a different kickoff this year,
but still, he's awesome.
But this is the point. First play, the kickoff coverage forced a fumble. Nolan Smith was out on kickoff. Like
Zach Bond was out on kickoff. Bond.
They identified a problem and immediately fixed it.
And they'd be great.
So next week, do I think the passing offense is gonna be better? Yes.
Yeah, I do too.
I do.
Yeah, that's simple. All right, couple things, and then we're gonna get to Rams Lions because it is a unique thing, and it was funny because last night as I was watching the Bucks Washington game,
I was rooting for the Bucks.
I was too.
Yeah,
I was rooting for the Bucks, and also I will be completely honest. Part of it was then I could go to bed earlier tonight and not have to stay up and watch.
Yeah, although it's a little fun today.
Well, that's.
Oh, true. Yeah.
What I was going was like yesterday. I was like, and I also watched the Bucks. I was like, they're not good. Like they're poorly coached.
Yeah,
like,
I've come off of being afraid of.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of the Bucks.
Doesn't matter now.
So like at that point, I was like, I want the Bucks at this point.
Yeah.
But now that we're where we are, regardless of the sleep thing, like it's pretty fun.
It is
going into a game tonight saying we're going to face one of these two teams we have nothing to worry about right now, and just like watch a game with real stakes for us and real like look ahead stuff, but also where we don't have to feel that pressure.
Well, what I also like is it's a great chance to actually watch.
Yeah,
like during the season, you don't always like I do, but like you don't always get a chance to watch the team's previous game. Like this, like tonight, I'll get to sit down and straight up watch the Vikings and like just learn from it and like have opinions of them based off it. So I'm super excited for that. Man, I had another point I wanted to make about. Oh, I want to get your AJ take.
Okay, good. I want one quick thing before AJ because I think it's more important because and it's not official. Yeah, we should mention that first. What a shame. I mean, Ian Rappaport tweeting out, and look, not a huge surprise in the crutches and the big thing last night. Even on the field, it looked like Nakobe.
Well, you could just tell right away.
He knew immediately.
Carted off the field.
He knew.
Like he threw the helmet. Yeah, I agree.
He knew something bad had happened. It looks like it is a significant knee injury, according to Ian Rappaport. He'll be out for the remainder of the playoffs. Confirmation today with the MRI. But obviously, like first and foremost, just sucks for him.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the contract situation where he could have gotten paid after the year. Also, with just what a year he's had.
So I want to start with that.
Yeah, start with that, but also like pivot into like, what's this mean for the next 3 games though? Because we're talking about like, as we talked about with yesterday, and just in general, like if you say, all right, what's the thing that gives you the best confidence, biggest confidence the Eagles will win the Super Bowl? It's their defense.
Yeah.
Shockingly, who'd have thought we'd be here? How big an impact is losing the
2022 all over again?
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone believing in the defense. I mean, man, the Nakobe thing just blows. Like,
it sucks.
And I've said it on the pod before, like, I did the Players Lounge with him for a full year. Like, I remember that year, him just wanting to play so badly and, like, watching tape all the time, even though he wasn't playing. And then the next year, he gets a shot and he gets hurt. And then it all comes together for him.
And he was great.
And he was great this year.
Great.
And, like, just for him.
I feel like because of how great, and he deserves it, how great Zach Baum was.
Yeah, he got overshadowed.
I feel like Nakobe did.
For sure.
Nakobe was a great Eagle.
And it also just sucks, like, I know he's friends with everyone on the team. Like, all of his Georgia guys.
You hear the way he talk. I mean, like, Nolan Smith, he was basically like, he's my favorite person ever.
Yeah, like, so
he's like, he's my everything.
So I know the Brandon Graham injury was similar because we have so much history with Brandon.
Sure.
But like, man, all injuries suck. But like this one, really, like, I just feel really bad for Nakobe.
Me too.
That's to get to miss the playoffs, like that blows.
After playing all year,
rehab all year,
and the contract. Like, there's so many angles.
And the contract, like now,
he would have gotten paid if he makes it through the Super Bowl. Did what he did. Like, he would have gotten a contract at the end of this year. And now, like, who the hell knows?
Well, and this sad business part of it from an Eagles perspective is like, I don't know, do you get him cheaper now than you like? So there's all types
well,
of,
and again, also with it being this late in the year, depending on how severe the
right.
injury
He could miss training camp.
He could miss the first part of next season, even.
Yeah,
So,
I think mostly now, guys.
I agree, but like this is the end. Like my point is, like he could miss the first 2-3 weeks. He could
sure.
be on a short-term IR to start the year,
or
something
he's
like that.
or he's not himself.
Yeah, that's my point. Is it's not like crazy to think
it's something to overcome,
lead into next
which
year.
is unfortunate. So feel bad for Nakobe from the team perspective. So I think Nakobe, if he went down in like week 6, would be like a huge loss because then you're talking about all year without him.
I feel like the 3-game thing, it's like anyone, you just kind of
like you just never know.
Look,
could Oren Burks step up and play awesome for 3 games?
I thought he played well yesterday in when he came in. And look, he had 17 tackles against the Giants that week.
For what it's worth,
the dude flies around at least. Like,
now,
I don't think he's like a disaster. He's just not Nakobe.
The 2 discouraging things for me. 1, we know Nakobe's awesome against the run. So like that, it's less important. Like the Packers, it was so key, and it will be against the Lions. We'll talk about the Vikings and the Rams. But like, so we'll see how Oren Burks does against that. 2, Nakobe's been the green dot guy.
Yeah, I think that's
so. There is that element. Now, the good news is Oren Burks. Now, if it was Jeremiah Trotter Jr. going in there, you would be like, this dude's a rookie. Like that's different. Oren Burks has played in big time games.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the Super Bowl last year.
Now, so this is my final. Oren Burks was really bad in the Super Bowl.
He was.
So like,
but he was also thrown into action because the green laundry played more than expected, all that type of stuff. But he was bad. You're right.
So Nakobe is a loss for sure. But I think because it's only 3 games and this is what's so huge. Like when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2022, Foles was unbelievable. But part of the reason Foles could be unbelievable is 2017. Part of the reason Foles could be unbelievable is because everyone around him was playing unbelievable.
Totally. And they were a team.
Yes.
Like everyone was like you always talk about with the Philly special, the level that they were executing at as a group was so high.
Oren Burks' job will be like if he went in last year's defense, I'd be like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like it's done.
He's got guys, guys to help him.
Right. Like everyone else is playing so well that I think it makes his job easier.
I totally agree. I think it's a great
It definitely hurts, but like for 3 games, like
gotta get through 3 games. Look, again. And it's like such a catch-all, but we saw Carson Wentz go down and Nick Foles lead them to a Super Bowl. The 2 greatest games we've seen a quarterback play, and the 2 biggest. We saw them win it without Jason Peters that year, without Jordan Hicks, like we know, like it or not, you can lose guys and you go in the Super Bowl. So it sucks, but I agree with you. I don't think it's something that should severely impact our expectations.
Yeah, and if we want to be like super harsh about it, I mean, of the 22 starters, like. Like there are bigger guys they could have lost. I feel really bad.
I agree, especially because like I think Oren Burks is better than like McCollum coming in at safety or whatever. Like that's my point. I think that especially with the backup, the downgrade too is like less than if you.
Oh yeah, that's
if you lose like Cam Jurgens to whoever your backup.
To be completely honest, like Nolan Smith to Bryce Huff.
Sure. Now at this point, yeah. By the way,
did you see Bryce Huff's snap count?
1.
Well, here's the funniest thing about it. Do you know what snap it was?
I just saw that it was 1.
It was the snap where Quinn Young got the interception and he was credited with a hurry.
That's hilarious.
Now, I was texting with Tucker about this last night. The fact he got given a hurry on it is
hilarious.
It's hilarious within itself, but he did not hurry Jordan Love on that snap. But it's just so funny that Bryce Huff, the 1 snap he played.
It's amazing. Yeah. Actually, it was a good defensive snap.
Yeah.
It is wild, too. I know we talked about like
Jordan Davis only 13 snaps.
That's interesting.
In a run heavy game, by the way.
It's interesting. Yeah. Now they were up in the second half and stuff like that, but that is interesting. I think it is wild too that you get if you had told before the season like, oh, you're gonna have to wait 3 months for Jahan Dotson to score his first touchdown and for Quinyon Mitchell to catch his first interception, you'd be like, well, that's not good.
No, it
turns out it was great. They were both great. Also, did you realize, by the way, it would be the Slay pick, but both Slay and Quinyon, the first 2 interceptions by cornerbacks for the Eagles this season? How crazy is that?
I mean, I believe you, but that.
Isn't that
Slay
crazy?
doesn't have
Jimmy Kempsky tweeted out, so I'm assuming it's true.
Yeah, you're right.
But and I thought about Slay didn't have any. Cooper DeJean didn't have any.
I guess Chauncey's had
because Bonds had Nakobe had the one.
Isaiah Rodgers had the one. He tipped to Chauncey.
Yeah, wild. And CJGJ obviously.
I guess Slay not having one isn't super crazy.
No, but it's interesting, right? It just
I
didn't realize.
No, that
is wow. Good point. Yeah.
Well, I thought you were gonna say. I wonder when the last time in 2 Eagles corners and had an interception
in a game,
or in a playoff
game too. Yeah,
I would guess maybe it never happened.
I'm not sure. Yeah. So anyway,
I have one more super random take for you.
Yeah,
dude, Eric Allen was on the pregame show yesterday. You want to talk about a cool guy?
Oh yeah, he seems awesome.
I
never met him, but he seems awesome.
I meet a lot of the old former players that come on.
He's just got it.
I wasn't I wasn't an anti-Eric Allen guy, but you know me. I don't really follow old players.
We know. Trust us.
Yeah. Dude, after meeting Eric Allen yesterday, I'm ready to die for him to
Love
go to the
this.
Hall of Fame. Like, I know he deserves it, but like after meeting him, I'm like, come on.
That's great.
Yeah,
It
was really cool.
He is the man.
Yeah.
He is the man. All right. Coming up, we're gonna get into the AJ stuff more because we barely talked about it. And then Rams Vikings. It's rare that you and I get to earnestly talk. Like we'll do our picks and stuff. We get to earnestly talk about a non-Eagles game and really like think about it is exciting. So we'll get to that coming up in a minute. But I mean, let's freaking roll here. Mike Quick, Seth Joyner, Jody Mack, Mark Zumoff, Rob Ellis, Joe Conklin, and us, Eliot Shorr-Parks, James Seltzer. The Bet Parks lineup. What a lineup that is. And we're reminding that even if the team doesn't score, there's so many ways to win with Bet Parks. And here's a really good one. The official sportsbook and online casino, the Go Birds Pod. It's the only one we use, the only one we recommend. Every weekend now, Bet Parks presents the Double the Spread feature. It's a special boost for all users on one select pro football game. What they do is they take an underdog and bang, they double line. If it's a 3-point line, it's 6. If it's 5, it's 10.
It really is one of the crazier deals.
It is an unbelievably great deal. And here's a great thing. All Bet Parks users can play. Details at betparks.com. Plus, of course, you can bet more than the score, player production, performances, rushing yards, touchdowns, passing yards, all the good stuff. And then in addition to betting on all these games and winning money, because that's what we've been doing this year, you got a casino right in the palm of your hand. You can play blackjack, craps, roulette, baccarat, baby. Baccarat. And so much more. All the action of a casino right at your fingertips. And here's a great deal for you. Listen to this. New users. Download the Bet Parks online casino and sportsbook app right now and you get up to $1,000. Yes, $1,000. If you're down in the first 24 hours, casino bonus back. Casino bonus must be wagered. See betparks.com for details. You must be 21 in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Michigan.
Gambling problem?
Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Elliot.
Give him a quick call.
That was good.
Thank you.
I was impressed. You know where it's going.
I had a rough idea. Yeah.
Impressive.
Thank you.
Listen, though, let's talk about something important here because you know that I have Window Nation about to check the windows in my house.
Yes.
They made the process so easy. I couldn't. Emily says to me like once a week, I'm so happy they came out. Like it's so great, especially with the cold months.
So before I got into this line of work, I would hear people read ads and I'd be like, question whether they really use the product. I will say with both Parks and Window Nation, it's been awesome. We actually use the product.
Great, right?
Because I can truly say like how awesome it is. But if your home is feeling drafty and uncomfortable this winter, and it's going to be cold again this week. It's weird.
I checked.
It was really weird. It's going to be really
nice for the weekend.
Warm on the weekends, cold during the week.
And by the way, we're saying warm, like highs in the 40s.
Well, that's the other thing. So, but if your
Which is why you need to freaking take care of your windows right now. Because hot is cold.
If your home is feeling drafty and uncomfortable this winter, and your winter, and your energy bills are going through the roof, it might be time to replace those old windows. Beat the cold with top quality, energy efficient windows from Window Nation.
And as you know, like we tell you, the savings that are here for you are absurd. Go to Window Nation. Yeah. Bananas.
I love to do that. I don't even like the song that much, but I love a good
I'm with you. It's great. Zoe loves it. I'll throw it out with her. It's always good.
It was Fergie, right?
I have no idea.
It was either that or
Definitely No Doubt. I always thought it was like a cheerleader thing. Like, like the B.
No, it's a Fergie song. Yeah, well, that too.
I thought it was like that kind of thing. I had no idea.
Yeah, no, I'll look it up.
I believe you.
Pretty sure it's Fergie.
So here's the deal. WindowNation.com. Check it out. Listen to this. You could save big. With 50% off all window styles. Half off. Like no big deal. Oh, but on top of that, you also get 0 interest and no payments for 2 years. It's an absurd deal. Window Nation's products are built to protect your home with top quality insulation and seals, often outperforming and outlasting the expense.
Plus, windows from Window Nation come with a lifetime warranty and can be installed in 1 day or less. Last year, they installed over 200,000 windows. That is an absurd
amount of windows. Like obnoxious.
96% of them.
Like, all right, we get it. It's a lot of windows.
Would it fill the link? We've had this discussion.
Yeah, we've had this.
96% of them requiring no follow-up service.
So upgrade your home with Window Nation. Sale ends January 31st. You got the rest of this month. Get on it now. Schedule your fast in-home estimate right now. Call 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION. Or visit windownation.com today.
By the way,
I'm Go saying
2 things. One, did you see the shot of the link on the broadcast yesterday with the drone where they like flew over it? Have you seen this?
No, I didn't.
Oh, cool? Dude. It is one of the coolest shots I've ever seen. I'm actually going to show it to you right now.
I love a good show live on
the because I feel like you need to see it. But here's my confession I will make about it. It is the first time I've ever thought maybe they shouldn't build a dome. Right. It's the first time. Dude, but you have to watch it. Ready? Okay.
This is a bold
Wait till you see this shot.
Oh, wow. That is.
That's awesome, right?
That's really cool.
That is a that is, yeah.
You wouldn't be able to have that view if you did.
Exactly. Oh. So it's the first time I've thought. So here's the other thing, actually.
I'm happy that you're willing to change.
Thank you. I'm curious for your perspective on this, because the other thing my mom said this morning was apparently Tom Brady was pretty complimentary of Jalen on the broadcast. Do you agree with that assessment, or what
I guess so. I thought Brady was awful. I thought Brady was like, I've not been a huge fan all year. I think he's been kind of up and down, and I thought he got a little better and stuff. I thought he was a disaster in this broadcast. Like, he called him the Phillies at one point.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He called the Eagles the Phillies at one point. He was calling players by the wrong names. Like, he just kept being like, I'm juiced up. But he didn't actually, like, he wasn't telling you anything about the game. Like, he wasn't like taking you inside what was happening. He was just like, I actually was like, I was really disappointed.
So I saw a tweet that was like, Tom Brady is like if AI called the game as an artificial.
It's like these like platitudes. It's like,
and that's what I hear. The times I've heard him, it just,
it feels like it's like a can thing. You could almost have like a wind up Brady doll. You could just like pull the thing, and it's like, juiced up today, KB.
Right. It's like Kevin Burkhardt could just be pushing buttons.
That's what it feels like. I don't ever feel like I'm learning anything.
Well, you bring up the emotion thing, I think is perfect, because at times I've heard him before a game being like, what a scene. It's like, you don't sound juiced up. Like you just don't. So I believe that you might be, today, but you're certainly not expressing it.
Totally.
So
anyway. So I was not super impressed. And here's the thing with Brady is I don't think he rips anyone on these broadcasts enough. And part of it is because he's not allowed to, I guess, according to
you know how I feel about that.
Yeah, we hate it. But like I don't think he was like, it wasn't that he was overly complimentary of Hurts. It was that he wasn't critical enough of Hurts because he's not critical of anybody. You know, he wasn't criticizing Love. Like, he was just like, he's just there, hanging out with his buddy.
And
KB.
what's crazy is he's making like $30 million. Like $38 million a year. To
good
do
time.
That's crazy, man. Good for him.
Talk about obnoxious. All right.
Yeah.
Rams Lions in a sec. Let's get to the AJ thing, because it was at the very end of the pod. You had your very quick statement, which was, don't care.
So I've changed my statement.
Okay, so I was about to ask, how do you feel? You're 20, not 24 hours. I guess like, 12, 14 hours, whatever since. Where you at?
I love it.
You've gone
I love that he read the book. Like, for so many reasons. Number one, we can't do the whole AJ is like showing emotion on the sideline, blah, blah. And then when he clearly, the objective of the book is to like get your mind in a good place. Like, and by the way, I ordered the book, so I'm excited.
Really?
I did order the book. Yes.
Did you really?
I really ordered the book. Of
course you would.
I ordered the book.
This is the most Elliot thing.
So I'm excited to read,
order
because I actually love like motivational quotes and stuff like that.
I can't do self-help books, that kind of stuff. I mean, they're great for people. Like they work. I personally,
right? It's your personal, but
can't do it.
I don't get the vibe. I guess it is self-help. I didn't think about it under that category. It seems like, so he tweeted some pages from it, and it seems like it's a lot of like,
it's like find your peace. And
so I'm into that stuff. Number one, like I'm big time into like, I love like when Instagram feeds me a quote, and I'm just like, so I like it in a somewhat ironic way, but So, but that, my preference aside, like, yes, he's doing something on the sideline to help himself. He thinks it helps him play. Like, why do we care? Like, I get that it could look rude, but like,
so here's
what do we think? He's ignoring his coaches?
No, but I think that's I think it's, I'm generally, I don't care much.
Right.
Like, I'm like very much like, whatever you got to do, especially in a vacuum, like whatever you got to do to get yourself right to go out and throw your body around and put your body in danger, like whatever. I get it. Like, whatever you got to do, I get it. My only issue with it is that, like, and again, I'm fine with it. Like, my overall thing is I'm fine with it. And I would think like maybe like, I don't know, put it on a Kindle or something like that, where it's not
you
so.
Love a Kindle.
I do. Look, I'm never gonna rip anyone for reading. You know, everyone read. Reading's great.
Right.
Books are the best. You know, but like make it less obvious you're reading like a paperback book.
So my guess is there's probably rules about what can be on the sideline.
Well, there's got to be. Yes, you can't have it. That's
I would
possible.
think like an electronic device.
Okay, whatever. Then like just find a way to make it look less like you're reading a paperback book on the sideline. But more so, my issue is not. And again, whatever he needs to do. My issue is that, like, and I don't think it ended up being that big a deal or whatever. It's more that, like, this whole year, like and last year, like we've been through this, like your passing game thing, like AJ has been in the league long enough. He is a grown man. Like, he knows that when he does things like this, how they're going to be perceived and react to it. And look, I get it that it's also like, you know, well, screw you. Like, I'm going to do me. And that's fine. Like, again, I'm not upset about it. It's like when you're doing it, when you haven't done it, like you saved it all year. The cameras have never caught him doing this once, right? So like I think at some point in the year, if he's always reading his book on the sidelines, we would have seen it, right? So like you're doing it when you have one catch for 10 yards. The passing game's struggling. We just a couple weeks ago went through this whole you and Jalen aren't friends thing anymore.
Right.
And like, so it's like, I'm fine with him reading the book. It's just like, I want him to be aware that the things he does and the things he says can have effects and repercussions and can, like result in like, and look, who knows what you're like, what if Jalen took it personally? What if we don't know and Jalen said he didn't, but what if Jalen, for him, he thinks that that's AJ being like, well, I'm not getting the ball. I may as well just pull my book out. Like,
right.
And I don't think it is. I'm just saying like, it's just one of those things where it's like, it feels like it could have been done it was unnecessary to cause any sort of thing.
I think those are all completely fair points. I don't think it's like overly critical of Jalen. AJ. I think it's just like a reality of the situation he's in, right? Now, my counter to that, and I think you'll probably agree with this, is like, and we've done so many of these conversations with like, should Jalen be more complimentary of Nick at the podium just to do it for the PR? Like, Nick needs to not do
Jalen smile on the side,
right? Like Nick needs to be less vocal.
Ultimately, might not be like as big a deal.
It's all about how it looks,
but it's just
part of
the whole package. Yeah.
So I get the thing, and I get your point. And we were talking about it before the pod. Like, if they lost the game yesterday, that's
a whole different thing.
It's perceived so different. It's not like a fun thing.
And DeCamera made this point to both of us, and I think he's right. If it's like if he's reading like a Stephen King book or something, it's a different thing. It's like he's reading a book to help better himself and all. Like that is part of it, like that. But if he's reading like a trashy airport novel it's a different thing, because then you're not like, why are you reading a book, like a novel?
Now, I will say he has had the book on the sideline all year. Now, no one's caught him
brought
reading
it out and stuff. I know. I wasn't implying that he didn't have it with him. I'm implying that he doesn't read it all the time.
Right. Yes. Like there would be clips
at some point we would have seen it. Was all I'm trying to say.
Yes. Now, I guess where I fall on it is like, should he not do it because of how it would look? Like, I don't know the answer.
I agree, and that's a flawed thing.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Because like if it
helps
him,
play football,
and yesterday he felt he needed to do it.
Yeah.
Like. Now, also, I don't remember what part of the game it was. Were they up?
It was late
in the fourth. Like they kind of had the game in control.
It felt like it was definitely they were. I think it was when they were up by 12. Like I think it was like maybe like early fourth, something like that.
Right. I also think
maybe it was when they were up 9, something like that.
It wasn't
when it was 16.
I also think sometimes we think athletes think about how it looks way more than they actually do. I agree with you that.
In this
you certainly need to know, especially if you're AJ.
Yeah,
look, if you're
that's more my thing. It's like
if you're Milton Williams, like you probably have a little more.
Exactly.
Every camera's on you, so I get that. But also, like, I don't know, I like it. I like that type of stuff. I like for me personally, I enjoy that type of stuff. So I very much, probably the only time in my life I can relate to AJ Brown. Like I can relate to like. Feeling like
he's
that
reading book on that. Yeah, I can. I walk.
That's
around
a good point. Yeah,
I've got my
I
Kindle
know.
on my phone.
Sad to see you anti-book.
I'm not.
I know. I'm
kidding.
kidding.
I'm not. Read. Everyone should read. Yeah.
Well, should we do my chapters take? But maybe
no.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
All right.
That didn't go well. I don't think. I think.
I'd be
doing
curious.
it. You didn't like it as much. You kind of backed it.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll do it on the pod. But regardless, I'm okay with it. I like it for sure. Though, if they lost, it would have been like
a whole different
all
story.
over the show day.
Yeah.
He doesn't respect Jalen like that. But I like it and I'm okay.
Yeah, again, I'm okay with it.
We all know next week, by the way.
Just be careful. That's all I'm saying, AJ. Like,
it'd be funny if he brought out like an encyclopedia.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Like just like massive book,
like a dictionary or something.
Yeah. Also, actually, I'm gonna give Chris from Motion City some credit here. He texted me. It'd be really funny if he started a book club.
Oh, I join. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think it'd be unbelievable. Or if like those things people put in the neighborhoods where it's like take a book, leave a book. If they put one on the link, like I think there's a lot of good. Positive. If they win the Super Bowl, there's a lot
have fun with it.
Yeah. Agreed.
And that's the thing is like these things like if it turns into something fun that we joke with AJ about,
awesome. Because they win.
Something where he doesn't like Jalen, then it's a problem.
Yes, 100%.
Exactly. All right, let's get to tonight because again, it really is.
Exciting.
I am. Yeah, I'm not excited to stay up late, but I'm excited to watch this football game and watch a game and know that in the divisional round of the playoffs, we're gonna play one of these two teams. By the way, just in a general sense, I mean, the fact that the Eagles get to play the team playing on Monday night, Sunday at 3 o'clock.
They get the advantage.
Yeah, that's a massive advantage. That is a full day. They're playing on the West Coast
in Arizona.
On a Monday night. So if like whoever like Minnesota, when they got to go back to Minnesota, then here by Sunday, the Rams back to LA, all the way across country. It is an advantage.
It's a travel advantage for sure. So I'm happy to do this. I'm excited to do this because we haven't really like dove in either team. So this is kind of like our raw big picture. And so my opinion on this could change after I do but I think it's pretty clear I want the Rams.
I think everyone alive should want the Rams.
I think it's the Rams.
So they've just been the worst team this year. And I think the only argument, and this is the kind of one you might make, is that, and O'Connell's been great. You could say McVay Stafford over Darnold O'Connell.
So,
but other than that, I can't make any other argument for the Rams.
So I think like these are my arguments for why you should want the Rams. One, the Vikings have the way better defense. So like just off the jump, if
roster.
The players on the team are exactly. But like if you're concerned about Jalen guy,
especially Flores too.
Now I will say I forgot about this. They played Brian Flores in the Vikings defense last year,
and they
put up
handled
34 points.
But it was also a different roster.
Yeah, agreed. It's a different time, but just worth putting out there. Like because a concern of mine was this will be the first time Flores against Hurts. That's not the case.
Yep.
Yeah, so that matters. But Vikings clear better defense, not even a debate. The Eagles already lit the Rams up this year.
It was a 37-17.
I think the other thing, I think when you think of the Rams, you think of like Cooper and Puka Nacua and like this high flying offense.
Williams.
I think the Vikings have better players on offense. Yeah. I would take Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison over Cooper and Puka. Maybe just because Jefferson's so much better.
Well, but I don't know. Puka's amazing.
Puka's very good.
More that Cooper's not what he was before. I think it's a issue. Puka's great though. Like Puka doesn't get talked about enough in that Jefferson team.
I agree.
But I agree. Jefferson's the best of them.
And then Jordan Addison is very good. And then they have
Hawkinson's better than
so that's the other thing.
Or whatever.
I think Hawkinson.
I think Aaron Jones is better. I mean, Kim and Kyron. Actually, Kyron's really good. But
I'm not a big Kyron Williams guy.
Kyron's good. But either way, they're similar. Aaron Jones is really good too.
Maybe I'll change my mind on this, but to me, it feels like Kyron Williams is like scores a bunch of touchdowns from the 3-yard line.
No, he's pretty good.
Does he? Okay,
he's pretty good.
All right,
but
he didn't impress me. He didn't really impress me against.
I don't think he's like light years better than Aaron Jones.
Yeah. So I think the Vikings have better players, and frankly, like I probably like their coaching staff better. As much as I like McVay, I've seen so many clips of the Vikings this year where like
they've got vibes.
Yeah. So and Stafford's old. Like I would welcome the Rams. Darnold's weird because on one hand it's like, come on, it's Sam Darnold. Like, but he's played well this year. Now he was awful in their biggest game of the year, which is definitely noteworthy. So I would if they play the Rams, I think they might like wax. Like, I think next week would be the performance of like, okay, here we go. Yeah, like Jalen plays better.
I think they wax the Rams.
I agree.
I'll pick them to cover.
I'd almost be so confident that I'd be worried, but I think I would probably pick them to win by double digits.
Me too.
I think
I picked them to win by double digits against the
Packers.
Packers.
And you nailed it. Good job.
I was pretty close actually. 27-17 was my call.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Good job.
Yeah.
The Vikings, I'd be a little more worried.
Well, I would too. I think anyone who says Vikings over Rams is deluding themselves. I think honestly the only way you could say Vikings over Rams is if you there are people like this, like I want to just win the Super Bowl, but like I want to beat the best to win the Super Bowl people. That's the only argument. Well, and the Rams are clear. I mean, the Vikings are clearly better.
I do think there is a McVay, Stafford, O'Connell.
Yes, you could say that, but even then it doesn't come close. I mean, the Vikings won 14
I agree.
Dude,
I agree with you.
The Vikings are better statistically across the board. I just think the Vikings are a way better football team this year than the Rams are. And look, I think it's just clear. It's just clear.
I don't know how much this plays into it. Curious, like the Vikings, I know it's a much different time of 2017, but I don't know. Like they did come here and get smoked. Like I think there would be some element of like for the Vikings fans, like here we go.
Yeah, and here's the thing I'll say with the Vikings though. I wouldn't be scared of either of them.
I'd be a little afraid of the Vikings.
I'd be more scared of the Vikings than the Rams, but like Sam Darnold against Vic Fangio in the cold in a massive playoff game on the road, like I just would feel confident about that. I think that's a matchup I would feel good about, but I agree. Like I don't think there's any question I would much rather face.
I don't know if this is the best way.
Like definitively.
Yeah,
I will be watching this game tonight, like rooting hard for the Rams.
Agreed. So
I guess there's one other thing. I said, like, it's not just to beat the best. Let's be fair. It's also if we want the Drew from Westchester.
No, I know that. Honestly,
the Vikings are the key to that.
Yeah,
because then you could tie it still. But if you get the Vikings, it doesn't even matter. You play in the Super Bowl. You're setting it if you win them.
So Drew, if you're listening, some advice.
Drew's definitely listening.
I know.
I spoke to him.
Okay, love him. Yeah. So if the Vikings win
I
tonight,
couldn't have done this if I didn't know that Drew was out there. You know,
if the Vikings win tonight, I think it's time to put the stat on Twitter. Like,
oh yeah, the Eagles.
Now the Eagles have the Vikings, and they'll likely get the Lions. This is what I think we got to get in front of this because, like, I want Drew to get credit for it. I don't want it to be too late, and then all of a sudden someone else does it. So
I agree.
Tonight's the night. I'll retweet it. But
I will too.
From like a 1 to 10, my concern level they would lose.
Retweet things.
You
I don't
don't
really tweet. So yeah, that's a big deal.
From a 1 to 10, my concern they would lose to the Packers, even at my worst, was probably like a 4 or a 3.5. My concern they'd lose to the Rams would be like a 1. My concern they would lose to the Vikings would probably be
And look, I guess some of it
above a
depends on how the
5.
Vikings look tonight. Like if the Vikings whoop the Rams tonight,
Yeah,
then it's
you'll
like,
feel
oh,
differently.
Yeah.
But I think there would be like the Eagles would need probably their A game, unless the Vikings just completely no show.
Yeah,
But I think the Eagles would have to play
it's
better.
a tough spot for the Vikings. Monday, flying back to Minnesota, back across the country.
Who do you think wins?
I think the Vikings.
I think so too.
Yeah, but look, I don't. I think the line's 2.5. I wouldn't be shocked if the Rams went to the McVay Stafford thing. I wouldn't be shocked. But
Some Nakobe news. It's what we expected, but unfortunately, Nakobe Dean, according to Ian Rappaport, suffered a torn patellar tendon in his knee and is out for the playoffs.
So not an ACL. I would have thought ACL. So patellar.
That's unfortunate.
That's tough.
I don't know enough about the recovery
No, but it's a
timeline,
bad one. It's
it's not.
So that is a shame.
Do it for Nakobe.
So I
MBG.
Yeah, MBG. Well, it's I got a final thought.
Actually, you know what I want to check? Someone should do this. Has Nick put a Brandon Graham sticker on his visor?
Oh, I don't think so.
Because he definitely puts a number on there. I forget who it was. I'm guessing he'll put Nakobe. If there's no Brandon Graham thing, I think Brandon's playing, to be honest, even maybe against Detroit.
Oh,
just I'll be careful. Someone look this up. I'm going to look it up, and I might ask him, you don't have a Brandon Graham sticker on your visor. Just curious why.
Yeah, I agree. You should. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, like, if you're going to do the whole, we put the,
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to look it up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you, though. I think that with Nakobe and Brandon are both guys, I do think they can rally around and do it for those guys. I do think, like, I've watched so I was going to get final. I'll save my final thought on the movie for another day because I didn't want to do it today. But I watched The Longest Yard for the first time this weekend. I'll give you my
Adam
thoughts on it.
Sandler?
No, the original one with the Burt Reynolds Longest Yard, like classic sports movie. But the speech at the end, it's freaking all time, and it's just basically, for caretaker, for granny, for Scarborough. Let's do this. That's the speech.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. He's like, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah,
we all watch.
Damn right. Like, dude, it'll be safer found out, but let me tell you, watch Longest Yard.
All right.
Awesome.
So I got two final thoughts. They're both off of like phrases. So, okay, let me pick this. The phrase "I'm loyal until you cross me." People say that, like, I'm loyal.
Yeah, I've heard that. Sure.
It's not loyalty.
No, yeah, you're right. It's the point is
it's like I'll be loyal as long as it's convenient for me.
Yeah.
But then at that point, like, my loyalty is gone.
Really good point.
You're either I'm not
you're
saying
either loyal or you're not loyal.
Right now, you shouldn't let people walk
like,
all over
people
you.
do something horrible.
Yeah, but like
you have the choice to change your loyalty.
I'm loyal till you cross me. Like, that's not loyalty.
There you go.
Dang, that was it. That was the whole thing.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a great one. Here's the deal. It's tough to come up with these final thoughts when I'm so wrapped in on the Eagles all the time. Like, my mind is so.
Trust me, I totally get it. No sticker on the visor, according to Tucker.
There we go.
Said as a Dean sticker on the visor for the playoffs last year.
But I think he already has a sticker on the visor for someone this year. I can't remember who it is. But I remember seeing.
Guys, though.
Yeah, but there's someone that was for Ben Van Sumeren.
Oh,
he had a Ben Van Sumeren sticker.
That's interesting. Okay. All right. My final thought. I will save the Longest Yard one for another day because I teased it last week and I want to give my $1 million idea one. We're starting.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Hot, okay.
Yeah, all right.
And I can't believe this doesn't exist. Maybe it does, and I've just never heard of it. But I feel like I would. So I was thinking I had to clean the shower this weekend. Good times.
Oh, dude, let me tell you. I'll be honest. Kristen cleans the shower all the time.
Oh, yeah,
I think it seems like
cleaning the bathroom is my.
Yeah. No, that's rough.
It's tough. But so I'm cleaning the shower, and Emily got this like Rain-X shower stuff, right? So it's like you're supposed to put it on the shower door, so it like.
Do you have a shower door now, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
A long time since. But yeah, so like it doesn't get like the water spot on whatever. Good idea. Rain-X, great idea.
Right.
We all remember, like, put Rain-X on your car, and it works great. How do we not have a Rain-X windshield? How have they not created a windshield for your car where they don't need windshield wipers anymore? We have Rain-X. The technology exists. You put this thing on your car. So you know what Rain-X is, right? Like, you put Rain-X on your car, and when the water hits the windshield, it repels it. Like, it just goes away. You don't have to use wipers.
So I did not know about that.
Oh, you've never. Okay. Rain-X. You put Rain-X on your windshield, and you don't need wipers. Essentially, at least for a while, so the Rain-X wears off. It just when the like waters hit, it just shoots
you're
off.
telling me if I spray this on my windshield,
Yes,
I
you,
don't
like, rub
need
it.
wipers.
You don't essentially until it wears off.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. But if
Yes.
so if I
And
just
look, if it's like
apply
a downpour,
right,
like
if I just applied it,
if you apply it,
theory,
it will, in theory,
okay.
it will, especially for any
So
lighter.
it sounds like your invention already exists.
No, but you have to apply it to the car. Like, you have to, like, personally buy Rain-X, put it in the car. Why don't all windshields why don't they have this technology built into them where we can repel the water? It's there. Like, the technology exists. Rain-X exists and has for 40 years. Like,
all right, so here's what I think the problem initially.
Yes.
And I like the idea, but let's just brainstorm.
not knowing Rain-X coming in is a
it's a
deficit,
flaw in my thought.
Yeah.
But like, I would think the problem would be when you're driving, like, you need the water to be removed quickly because you are moving at a high speed. And I would think that your invention, the water would more like just like drip down.
No, so it like shoots off with Rain-X. Like, if
It's a
a
wild
was
product if this is
like
true.
that.
I believe you, but so you're
Maybe
telling me
we
like
never used
water
Rain-X.
hits the windshield and
Yeah,
it just
like
flat.
it just like shoots off.
Wow, I'd love to know the science behind that.
Yeah, but that's the point. How do we not have a Rain-X windshield? So this
where
would
it's
hit hard if
built
you knew what
in.
Rain-X was.
I mean, it seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, but it's not. I'm sure there's a technical.
I think you would still need windshields for its worth, but it sounds like
windshields.
no
but the
harm, no
wipers.
foul. Like, why not put it in
I
there?
would like to not have to use my wipers more. That'd be great.
And I gotta say, me personally, if I was buying a car
Mhm.
and they told me about this witchcraft, I'd be like, whoa. I'd be like, I should spend $8,000 more on this car because of this obscure thing that won't. It's a perfect, like, doesn't really matter, but like a cool little.
Yeah.
I'd be like saying to Kristen, like, but this one has the windshield thing. Yeah.
All right.
I'd be scammed good.
I had a
on that
good
one.
weekend. I came up with some good final thoughts. I'm ready for the week. I knew they were gonna win, so I was like ready. I was like, I'm gonna have some good stuff to go. All right.
Yeah.
Back tomorrow, brother. Let's roll.
So final prediction is we both want the Rams. We think Vikings.
We both want the Rams. We both think the Vikings win. Whoever it is, guess what? We're gonna talk about it tomorrow because we got another daily.
Also, if you're still listening, 5-star review.
Yes, subscribe.
Yes,
tell
all
friends
that
to
fun
subscribe.
stuff.
If you know an Eagles fan who's not listening, tell them
Yeah,
to listen.
that's a good time
Get
to
them
do
on
it.
board. Let's all do this run together. Let's have some fun because I think that we got some time left in this run.
I think I got some time.
Got some time. All right, we'll be back tomorrow, 10 o'clock, same place, same time. Until then, he's out.